So guys, you're closing sales, you're stacking up those clients, and you're building your social media marketing agency, and you're getting closer to those financial goals that you set yourself, which is great. However, now you have to manage those clients, and not a lot of people talk about this in SMMA about how to handle and manage multiple clients. So that's what I want to break down in this video. So stay tuned. So guys, welcome back to the channel. Montel Gordon here. Hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe. If you're new around here, please drop a like, comment and subscribe. Please make sure you turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I drop a new fire upload to this channel. And with that being said, guys, again, just make sure you drop a comment. Actually, just drop me a comment, anything, just introduce yourself. Where are you in the world? Just let me know, because I kind of love connecting with you guys. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram as well and send me a DM there if you have any questions whatsoever, no matter how big or small. So guys, let's jump into it. So now that you're starting to get clients, guys, and you are managing different people and stuff like that, look, it can be a headache. I definitely know this. It can be a headache because with SMMA, it's like you're working with business owners, and if you're not careful, here's what's going to happen. You're going to create yourself another like 9-to-5 job where you don't just have one boss, but you're employed by multiple bosses, and these multiple bosses being your clients basically. So what you need to do, guys, is you need to have certain systems, certain protocols, certain expectations in place in order to manage these clients successfully, especially if you have multiple clients where you're starting to stack up and it's starting to get stressful and it's starting to dawn on you that you just have a bunch of bosses basically shouting at you and you've got this thing to do and that thing to do, and it can get very messy if you're not organized and you're not structured. So in today's video, I want to break down how you can get organized, streamlined, make sure that you can reduce your stress and manage multiple clients at once. So the very first thing I highly recommend you guys do is make sure you have set up like a very streamlined way of onboarding clients. Now, I used to do like just on the call onboarding clients, as in whenever I close a client, would then set up another meeting, which was like a setup meeting where we would talk logistics, setting them up with their ads manager account and stuff like that. That is very annoying if you're going to be closing multiple clients, especially if you're using something like Upwork where the clients come quite quickly, like 2 to 3 clients a week and stuff like that. I know that it's going to be very stressful for you to onboard all those clients and you don't have time for that. So I highly recommend you go out there, for example, like me, and this was a game changer in my agency as well, is you go out there and create what you call an onboarding funnel. This basically is a funnel built on ClickFunnels, for example, and it's a series of 7 miniature videos that basically introduce the actual service you're going to be providing, and it sets expectations right off the bat. This is key, guys. You need to set expectations right off the bat. If you don't set expectations off the bat, your client's going to be expecting you to do shit that you just don't do, such as send emails when you're supposed to be running ads for them, or even doing their content creation or whatever service you're providing. They're going to be asking you to do all sorts of other shit like what a VA would do, and you're not a VA. You're here to provide a service to this business owner, and you're not a virtual assistant basically. So you need to set the expectations right off the bat, the communication expectations, the what you're going to do for them and what you won't do for them. And again, this, guys, can be quite awkward if you're telling it to a business owner over the phone, especially if you are kind of like introverted and kind of shy. If you're on an onboarding call with a client and you're telling them, you know what, John, this is how we're going to be communicating. I know sometimes it can feel a little bit awkward if you're trying to tell them exactly how this is going to be run when it's their business you're running the ads for, and it's them that's paying you basically, and it's you then trying to set their expectations. Well, the way around this is to get them to go through your onboarding funnel or process or whatever you want to call it. Again, this is a series of 7 miniature videos or series of couple of videos, and each video kind of does a different thing. Like one of them sets them up on their ads manager, another one helps them tell us more about their audience, so you can have like an intake form and get a lot of questions from them, such as, who you're trying to target, who you're not trying to target, what sort of content you want, what are your branding guidelines, that sort of stuff would be in the intake form, and they fill that out. So again, the onboarding process is a really slick way, first of all, onboarding clients, setting expectations, showing them what they can expect from you, what they can't expect from you, how to get the partnership between you discontinued, and how to make the partnership great. And again, setting expectations is like 80% of the work done for you. So if you can just get them to watch a single video of you setting the expectations, such as this is how we communicate, this is how we don't communicate, these are the services we're going to be providing you, these are the services that we are not going to be providing you, but if you want those are an additional cost that we can actually talk about in the future. This is the contract you need to sign. We don't communicate from this hour to this hour because we're, either sleeping, or we don't communicate on these days because that's when we're spending time with our family, and we're a business. We are actual people in the business, and we also have families. So you want to make sure you have a very slick onboarding process. First of all, onboards the clients automatically so they can set up their own ads manager and give you and then basically onboard themselves into your ads manager. You also want to make sure in the onboarding process you set the expectations right off the bat, guys. Again, with expectations and setting expectations, if you don't set expectations, they're gonna kind of expect or even think they can get away with certain things when they really cannot. So if you set the expectations from the start, they know exactly what they can expect from you, what they can't expect from you, what they can ask you, what they can't ask you to do, that sort of stuff. And again, with the expectation stuff, and guys, again, with the onboarding stuff, you don't actually have to set the expectations right there and then if you're on the phone with them, so it's not as awkward because it's a video that you've pre-made that you actually make them go through. So that's a way to get around it if you're a little bit awkward. Also, guys, I've noticed if you don't set the expectation from the very get-go, it's quite hard to do it again later on down the line, because it's like they're already used to working with you a certain way and getting away with certain things, and then you then come and enforce a rule. They are gonna be resistant to that change, and that's pretty much what humans are. We're very resistant to change. We like things done a certain way, how we've done it before. We want to stick to that. Whereas, setting the expectation right up from the front means that you always have operated in that way and you don't need to change it, so they're not going to be very resistant to the change. So first of all, make sure you have a very slick onboarding process that goes through all of this, and it's kind of like a psychological thing as well, where you set the expectation, what they can expect from you, what they can't expect from you. Guys, the second key I want to break down to managing multiple clients without losing your frigging sanity is having communication in one centralized hub. I personally like to use Slack, and each of my clients has their dedicated Slack channel. Slack channels are basically like Slack's version of like a group chat. So in the Slack channel, there will be my client, their team, whoever they need on their team, and me in the actual channel, and my outsourcer, whoever else I need in the Slack channel. Normally it's just me and my one outsourcer. I just have one outsourcer, but if I need to take on a Facebook ads dude or anything like that for this particular job, or like a funnel builder for a particular job, I will have that person in the Slack channel as well. And what you do here, guys, is you centralize your communication in one place. You tell them in the onboarding process, if you email me, if you text me, if you WhatsApp me, if you phone me, those are all probably going to get ignored. The communication policy is that we always communicate via Slack inside of your own dedicated Slack channel. And what that does, guys, is it eliminates you from having to check emails on what they said previously, or find assets they've actually sent to you via email, or check WhatsApp for something they've requested or something like that. And that can just be all over the place and very sporadic. So what you can do is have a very streamlined system for communication so you don't miss anything going back and forth. Also, what you can do, guys, is have your outsourcer in there so you can actually focus working on your business and not delivering a service. Meaning, when your client has a certain question, they can actually post that in their own dedicated Slack channel, and that Slack channel has your outsourcer in, so they can basically communicate with each other. So your outsourcer talks to your actual client and you just oversee the communication. And guys, the questions that your client has basically gets fulfilled or answered by your outsourcer in the Slack channel. Again, you can communicate in there as well yourself, and you can just have your outsourcer kind of reply back and deal with all the answers and stuff like that they need. And you want to introduce obviously your outsourcer and stuff like that, and say that this is an account manager, he's the bee's knees doing this thing, that thing, and that thing. So if you have any questions, either me or my outsourcer will be able to answer you. It doesn't matter who's answering, because we're both equally experts in this particular field or whatnot. I'll just say something on the lines of that to kind of set the expectation that they're also going to be communicating with not just you but your outsourcer as well. So that again sets the expectation from the very get-go, and you do that in the onboarding process that I've kind of already told you about. So guys, another thing that's going to help you significantly when it comes to managing multiple clients is using certain social media management tools. If you're doing social media management, what you want to do is batch produce all your content for clients as soon as possible. So as soon as you onboard them, you take the intake form from them. So they fill out a certain questionnaire in the onboarding process. You go and look at that and take all the information on as to who they're trying to target, who they're not trying to target, what sort of content ideas they have, what sort of content they want their content to look like. So, and like other inspiration in the same industry as them. Once you've got all that information, you can start creating content. So what I highly recommend you guys do, and it's something that I kind of slacked on and kind of slacking on now, but I'm trying to fix, and I highly recommend it because we've just kind of started to implement and it's really been working well. And this is what you kind of want to do, guys, if you're servicing a social media management client, is you want to batch produce all their content for the month in a couple of days, 2 to 3 days, for example, and then have that all scheduled out using a social media management like software tool such as like Hootsuite or Buffer. So what you want to do is, instead of trying to create content each and every day for them, like wake up, create content the next day and post it, and then wake up the next day, create content, post it and whatnot. Don't do that. You want to actually create all the content beforehand, like all 30 days worth of content. So that may be 30 posts or something like that. It won't take you that long if you're using stuff like canva.com. Definitely highly recommend you guys use canva.com and stuff stuff like that. And then you also want to create the captions and make sure you got the right hashtags as well, and actually schedule those into like what you call a content calendar, so your client can actually see that you've done the 30 days worth of work kind of in advance, so they can actually see, you know, on March the 22nd or May the 28th, for example, they have this piece of content going out, and then they can take a look at it and see, well, you know what, Montel, I don't really like the way that looks, can you change that? And we can change that way in advance, for example. But what this is going to allow you to do, guys, is basically complete like one client's worth of work within just a couple of days. Like the whole month's worth of work for that one particular client, you can complete it in like a couple of days, like all the content batch produced and scheduled out, so you don't have to worry about that client too much unless they have questions. And again, pretty much like completing all your work very get-go basically. So I highly recommend you do that, guys. That was a game changer for me. Guys, another tool I highly recommend is go and use Trello. Trello is like a Kanban view of like a board where you can see what needs to be completed, what's in progress, what's urgent, the certain tasks you need to complete for clients as well. So what you want to do with this is have you, your outsourcer, and your particular client on one Trello board, so they can see this piece of content needs to be done, or this Facebook ad needs to be ran, or this campaign needs to be turned off. And what you guys can do is actually see your workflow in one nice Kanban view basically, and it keeps you organized, streamlined, and it makes sure that you guys are all on the same page as well. And basically, guys, it eliminates you from missing certain things that need to get done. So it's like a to-do list but on steroids, and you can see what's in progress, what's being completed, what needs to be done, what's urgent, what's outstanding, and stuff like that. So you can actually make sure that the whole project runs smoothly. It's like a project management tool, if you will. I know there's like stuff like monday.com, but I prefer to use like Trello. It's really awesome for me. Again, you want to have your outsourcer, your client, and guys, you want to create multiple boards for different clients. So you have you know, if you have client 1, you have a board for them, your client 2, you have a board for them, so your client, your outsourcer can all see what's happening and what the next steps are. Guys, here is another massive thing you can use to kind of keep your sanity, keep you stress free, and keep you sleeping well, not too stressed basically, guys. So I don't check certain communications at certain times. For example, after 8 p.m. it's literally impossible for my clients to communicate with me. The reason being, guys, is for one, I want to go to bed early. I have a system, like a night routine that I actually have to get into before I like kind of like charge down for the day. Because me being an entrepreneur, I have things like racing, and I'm pretty sure you guys are the same. Like you have things racing on your mind. So I like to actually read and kind of take my mind off of things. I'm always thinking about how to get to the next level, what I can implement to do this thing and that thing, get to that level. And I constantly have all these ideas when I'm stagnant. When I'm in bed, for example, and just chilling and not doing anything, I have a racing mind. Now, I sometimes go ahead and check Slack for certain communications, and if there's something that's not really like a fire in their business, but it's kind of like something that needs to be done, that's me gonna have to get back out of bed, open up my laptop again, stress about it, and then, you know, find some sort of solution to fix this when I really should be powering down for bed. And that actually fucks up my night routine, which then has a knock-on effect on my morning routine. Because my morning routine is then shit, guys, I have a very shit day and actually produce less quality work. So it's actually more beneficial for me not to check communications late at night or early in the morning as well, guys. But guys, you want to make sure you're obviously replying back to your clients as soon as possible, but there's certain times you have to block off communications just to keep your own sanity. Again, at night time, don't be checking emails or Slack or anything like that. Again, I highly recommend you centralize all communication on Slack. Don't check Slack for your client stuff, because what's going to happen is if something does pop up that you kind of need to fix but it's not an actual emergency, you're not going to be able to sleep that night. You're going to be thinking about that one thing all night, and again, that's going to have a knock-on effect the next day, and you're going to produce shit work the next day because you're not going to get much sleep and you're going to be worrying about it all night basically. Another thing is, guys, I don't check, like, for example, Slack first thing in the morning. So when I wake up, I have a phone-free morning. I don't even turn my phone on until 1 p.m. I have Slack on my phone, I have Slack on my computer. So the key is not to check Slack on my computer before 11 a.m. The reason why is because I block off from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. to complete my IPAs. IPAs are what, you know, move my business forward. Imagine this scenario, guys. You wake up one morning, you go through your morning routine and everything's great. You get to work at 9 a.m. and the first thing you do is open Slack, and there's, you know, something happening that you need to fix in a client's business. Well, what's going to happen is that's going to take your time away from your own business and building your own business. I know you need to be providing an excellent service for your clients. I'm not trying to say that, but guys, most of these, you know, business emergencies can wait at least 1 to 2 hours. There's nothing really out there that's going to make your client's business completely get destroyed within 2 hours of time. There's not really a high probability that that's going to happen. So it can wait 2 hours, guys. Complete your IPAs, then go and service your clients or fix the thing that you need to, and have your outsourcer fix that as well. So even if it's an emergency, your outsourcer can fix it, and tell your outsourcer if there's ever an emergency. You want to set this in motion way before this anyway. When you first get an outsourcer, you want to tell them if there ever is an emergency, you want to make sure that you can fix it yourself. If you truly cannot fix it, then you want to contact me via this number, for example. Then that would be a proper emergency, like something is going drastically wrong. But most of the time it's just little problems that don't really need your immediate attention right away, and you can actually just wait until 11 a.m. for example to reply back. But yeah guys, here's the scenario again. If you wake up at night, you know, you do your whole routine, you go through it, you're good, you're pumped to work, and then you get to your computer at 9 a.m. to go and complete your IPAs, and then you go and open Slack and there's something like a little problem. What that's gonna do is basically take your attention away and your focus away from growing your actual business to working in your business and being a practitioner and being just another glorified freelancer that's providing the service instead of actually growing the business and focusing on sales and marketing. So guys, those are some of the tips I highly recommend if you are, you know, struggling when it comes to managing multiple clients and stuff like that. With that being said guys, I hope that you guys are staying safe, washing your hands, and make sure you drop a like, comment and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.